And welcome. A little tardy today because I had real life that got in the way of my obsession. I'm Dave Rothenberg, and this is my Giants obsession. And I got to be quite frank with you, it's not going well. I think the show is going well. I like Nico. I like Steve. I like Joe. I like the studios. The air conditioning seems to be functional and working again. It's not here. It's not you that upsets me. It's not you out there that bothers me. It's the Giants. It's the frickin' Giants. I'm talking to people earlier today and like, how do you deal with this? How do you do this? How is this something that you have to deal with all the time? It's awful. The only thing I could imagine being worse than this is being a Jets fan who never win. Like, at least the Giants have had moments where they've had success and they've won. The Jets just go through this annually, but never actually get the fruit of anything. They never, ever win. And last night was another one. Here's the thing, and I think we need to come to terms with it. The Giants are bad. They've been bad. They are bad. They'll be bad until proven otherwise. So we need to take a pause and have a kumbaya moment together, you and me. And what that is we need to just recognize this is a bad franchise. It is. From ownership to GM to coach to players, it's a bad, broken franchise right now. How does it get better? Well, Jackson Dart being good would help it get better quickly. And that's the thing. Look at any of the good teams in the NFL. Look at them. I think the Eagles have the most talented roster, but Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback, right? Look at the good team. Look at the Chiefs, Mahomes. Look at the Chargers, Herbert. Look at the Bills, Josh Allen. Every good team in this league, almost in unison, has a big-time quarterback. Almost every single one. If you don't have the quarterback, you can't compete in this league. That's it. It's just that simple. That's why teams will mortgage anything they have to have the quarterback. And that's why a big discussion we'll start to get into. And Jordan Raanan, my buddy, ESPN, he's a big TV star. He's a big star. He's going to join us in about 5, 7, 10 minutes maybe. And we're going to get into when is it time. We know Jackson Dart is going to play, and it feels like it's the last lifeline. Remember, what was the game show where you'd phone a friend? It was with Regis. What was that? Whatever it was. I think I would sit there and he'd try to win the $1 million. They'd answer the questions, and then the next round. I don't remember. I can't remember now. But regardless of that, you'd get to there was a 50-50, and there was a phone a friend. It feels like the last lifeline Brian Dable and maybe Joe Shane have is Jackson Dart. Because if you don't throw Jackson Dart into the fire at some point, and enough with running the football. I get it. You want him to run. He creates a different dynamic. He's very athletic. He can tuck it and run. He can do the RPOs. Can we throw the ball at all? At all with this kid? And it's the same song and dance. But what I'm talking to you guys about right now is instead of on Wednesday wiping the slate clean of what we just saw and looking towards Friday, and then Friday saying, you know what, 0-3, but the Chargers, no. Don't fall for it again. This is a bad football team. And they've been a bad football team. And quite frankly, offensively, it's the same crap you've seen year after year after year. It's the same offensive line. You added Cam Scatterbo to a backfield, which is the same. It's Malik Neighbors. It's Darius Slayton. It's Theo Johnson. It's Jalen Hyatt, I think, but I haven't seen him, but I think. And it's the same offense outside of quarterback. But I think you probably downgraded at quarterback. So why would it be better? It won't. It shouldn't. and don't believe it for a second. All right, couple things, little housekeeping things. And then we have a really good show today. We'll get into the positives and the negatives from both sides of the football, comments, feedback, questions, all of it. You know how to get involved. Like us, subscribe to us. We're getting there. We're starting to make strides. I'm not supposed to point at that, but you see it, lower left of the screen. Like us and subscribe to that. I got a real scolding today. I walked in. Stop pointing. And what? It's right there. I like to point. No, don't point. So I won't point. Nico, he's going to come on. He's going to yell at me on air. You'll appreciate that. We'll bring those guys on. We have fun with them. Comments. How do we fix the Giants? The answer is we probably don't, but I have Dave's Fixins at about, later on in the course of the hour. Comments, review, NFC standings review, the fact that the Giants season is probably over again, review, and then we'll get you ready for 1 o'clock on Wednesday. So, couple of housekeeping details, and then we'll analyze the game a little bit, and then we'll bring in my buddy Jordan Raanan. You can now listen to us on Spotify. So that's new, and that's a launch, and it's very simple. They're all very simple. Dave Rothenberg's Giants Obsession. Okay, you follow us on all our socials: Instagram, DR Giants Obsession, TikTok, same thing, DR Giants Obsession, and Twitter, DRNYGO. And that's the way you consume, and that's the way you follow. Last night, I was listening to the Michael Kay show. A buddy of mine, I saw him earlier today. We chatted. He said, "How do you deal with this?" And he's doing his radio show in New York. And I was listening to it on the way here. And it's kind of like, it makes you feel weird because he says, guys like Dave Rothenberg, I feel badly for people like that. Well, you know what? I feel badly for people like that too. People that devote so much time and angst and energy and money and just saying, no, I can't go out and do this. I can't go out and do that. Or after a loss, now you're in a bad mood. And he said, as I'm listening to the show, he said, when is the offensive guru part of Brian Daboll come out? And I think it's a very fair question. Guys, we're year 4. Brian Daboll. It's just not working. And I know that Joe Shane and Brian Daboll, and Jordan's going to join us. We'll ask him this question, are, I guess, on differing paths where Daboll might be in trouble, where Shane might not. But the whole thing with the kicker last night, and you'd say, well, that doesn't really happen. But it has to this franchise. It did 1 year ago, and they went through the same song and dance yet again. So, again, how? How do you not game plan to get Malik Neighbors involved at all? A touch, a swing pass, a screen pass, a reverse, a halfback option, something. Be creative. The lack of creativity is mind-numbing with this team, and it never changes. And I didn't think the Chiefs were great. I thought the Chiefs were ripe for the picking last night. Never once did I watch that game and say to myself, you know what's going to happen? The Giants are going to win. Why? Because they never do. They never win these kind of games, ever. Week 1, kind of in it, never going to win. They were down by 8 in week 1. It felt like they were down by 58. All right? So this right now is a bad football team, a really bad football team. All right. So it's funny. I get a text from the EP of the show. He said, Jordan, not responding. Send me his phone number right now. Then I get a text 9 seconds later. He's in. We're good. So without any further ado, let's bring in my guy. And only people like you who are like-minded like me do I even have any feelings with on a day like today. And that is, of course, the great. And Ver, can I say you look sexy right now? Very sexy.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, I haven't showered today. I got home at 3 a.m. and I still have the hair's still done from yesterday, but yeah.
It looks great. I don't know about that sweatshirt. It feels like you look very turtle-esque, where like your neck is popping out of a turtle shell.
Turtle-esque? Well,
yeah.
I think it's because I have an IFB on and it's in the back there, yeah. But this is like a hip sweatshirt though. This is cool. Like what the kids wear.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So Jordan, we have a lot to unpack right now. A lot.
I need to know where you are in your mental spaces before we get
in a very bad spot. Jordan,
yeah.
You know what it is? Okay. And I said this when we started this show today, and I'll repeat it to you. It's the same thing. Giants are no different. We dealt with this in 2023, and we dealt with this in 2024, and we're dealing with this in 2025. If they're fortunate, they're going to win 3 or 4 games again, and talk me out of that statement, because I just think this is a bad football team again.
Maybe more than 3 or 4, but yeah. But we know the back end of the schedule is going to be the much easier part, right? We knew that coming out. And I know you're going to sit here and say, well, those aren't wins, and of course they're not. But like the second half of the season, you have New England, the Raiders, Dallas, Washington. So especially if Jackson Dart's playing, you would hope he could, have good games here or there, and they'll win some games. But you're right, Dave. Here's my thing. And they went 3-14 last year.
Right.
Why? It's like, what's the old thing? Do the same thing over and over again. Definition of insanity.
Right.
Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. They went 3-14. They were terrible. Why would we think it was going to change?
With the same team.
All the stuff this is there with these guys, though. I'm talking about management. I'm talking about front office. Yeah, and exactly. But they brought back the same team. They told us, well, you know what? We're better than you guys think. Our offensive line is better than you think. Our young guys are better than you think. And what's the reality? Here they are sitting at 0-3 again.
So there's so much to unpack from that. It's the same thing. It's nauseating. You've told me, and you've been pretty steadfast with, they're not attached to the hip, the Shane and Dable contingent. How could this team, Jordan, have another 3 or 4 win season, which you can't imagine it's going to be much more than that, even if they do have some wins at the back end of the schedule? How can they have another 3 or 4 win season and say, all right, Dable's gone, but the guy that's giving him the team comes back to do it all over again? The fan base will riot. You can't do that.
Yeah, I don't think they could do that. They won't be in a situation where they can do that if that's the case and you only win 3 or 4 games. You can't put together a 3 or 4 win team. You can't coach a 3 or 4 win team and then bring it back and roll it back and do it again and then keep. I told you, I did the book recently. That was one of the things that stuck out to me when I did the book. I'm talking to Tom Coughlin about going in there in 2007, before the 2007 season. So I guess it's January of 2007, right? And groveling for his job, Dave. They had just made the playoffs twice.
Yep.
I know one was at 8-8, and there was a lot of problems with the players, but he had to go grovel for his job. Now we're at a point where the bar is you go 3-14, and they're like, year 3, let's roll it back, guys. Think about it. They went 10-6, 8-8, made the playoffs in year 2 and 3 under Tom Coughlin, and he had to go grovel for his job. They went 6-11, 3-14, and they got brought back, no problem.
How? What is going on? And if you remember, Jordan, last year at his closing, press conference, media scrum, Mr. Mara said, I want wins next year. Well, you're 0-3 again. There's no one in the world that thinks they have any chance to go to the postseason, even compete for a postseason spot. So if wins are the ultimate decision maker as far as if guys remain employed, well, how can anybody possibly remain employed? And I remember that his father, Wellington, used to say, get me to December and have meaningful games. December, Jordan, it's not even October, September, and they're not playing in meaningful football games.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, there's nothing to say about that. It's 100% true. I mean, the only thing I'll say about that is that the reason, and we've talked about this, the reason that John Mara convinced himself to roll it back and to give these guys another opportunity was because he didn't want to keep turning it over and keep changing. Like, the fear of change is the reason that they got a reprieve.
But how ridiculous is that? Like, these guys are still employed because I didn't want to make a change because I've made so much change. So these guys
because I made mistakes in the past. Yeah.
All the change they've made in the past then?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why, at the time you just sat there and you listened to it and you're like, seems like the wrong reason to me. I wonder how this is going to end. And, we sat here and, even you said, you guys were optimistic this summer. So optimistic We picked them to go 6-11. Like, that's optimistic these days. I picked them to go 6-11.
Favor. Right here. You're on Dave Rothenberg's Giants Obsession. You're the first 2-time guest. We love you. You're my favorite. You know how I feel about you. Make me a solemn promise right now.
Okay.
If next summer I have any optimism, punch me in the head with a mallet. Do you make that promise to me that you take something like a hard wooden object and you attack me right up here, like in the temporal lobe area, because I cannot deal with this anymore?
I don't think I want you to hurt yourself, though. Can we avoid that? Is there a way to do it without you
just don't let me have
bashing your own head in?
Don't let me have optimism, because why should I? Why should any Giants fan? The only thing that gives you any hope now, and already where it's like, when do you play this card? Because this is it, is Jackson Dart.
I was just going to say that. That's your hope for optimism.
I have my opinion. I would start him now. I would start him week 4 against the Chargers. At least let him have one game under his belt to go to a very winnable game in New Orleans. But you tell me, you're around this team every single day. When's the answer?
It's coming soon. Here's the problem. There's really no good landing spot, or you know what I mean? Like, we could say, okay, New Orleans is probably their easiest game, but then they got to come back and turn around and play the Eagles on Thursday night. And then they play the Eagles 2 out of 3 weeks. And then in between, you have a trip to Denver. And by the way, that's 3 straight games against Eagles, Denver, Eagles. Guess what? I haven't looked it up, but I'm pretty sure those were the number 1 and 2 defenses last year in the NFL, Philadelphia and Denver. So I don't know. There's no easy answer to it. The easy answer would have been to be able to wait until the second half of the season, later in the season, the bye week around there. But that was all contingent on winning games and Russell Wilson being a good plan. And we all knew that Russell Wilson wasn't a good plan. He's on his 4th team in 5 years. You don't play on 4 teams in 5 years if you're a good quarterback these days. Like, those teams will want to keep you. They'll go out of their way to make you happy and keep you. And so, look, and we also should remember, Russell Wilson was not their first choice, right? They went to Stafford. They wanted Cam Ward. They wanted Rodgers. They wanted Aaron Rodgers over him. They waited for 2 weeks while Aaron Rodgers held them hostage. And then they're like, well, I guess this is what we have left. And now we're seeing the results of that. But it's just more than that. It's like, there are times where even he could be successful, but there's little things going on. Like, those little things matter. The 14 penalties for 160 last week. I don't know if you noticed this, it kind of flies under the radar, but these are the kind of things that, so let's just say they're trying to come back late in that game, Dave. They used the timeout at the beginning of the 3rd quarter because they weren't prepared, because the Chiefs pretended to go for it. Like, those kind of things are things that make a difference when you're a competitive team and you're playing in tight games. And they're not doing those kind of things well, or anything well, really.
Yeah, and therein lies the problem. I know this is like a touchy subject with Giants fans now. Is Brian Daboll just, I'll come out, just not a very good coach? Like he's so good and he's dynamic and he's a guru in the offense. And is there a better than decent chance that he's in fact the product of Josh Allen and not vice versa, that Josh Allen is the product of Brian Daboll?
It's definitely something you have to consider, right? Is that we all got fooled by that first year, and Josh Allen apparently can make anybody good because he's just ridiculous, right? I mean, now he gets credit for what he did there and helping, because remember, Josh Allen came in and he wasn't great when he first started. He went through some rough patches and growing pains, but you are what your record says you are in the NFL. And I don't know the math off the top of my head, but you know, they started 7-2 and finished 9-7-1. Then they went 6-11, 3-14, and are now 0-3. So that's not good, Dave. And so that's what he is as a head coach. There's a lot of things that have happened. Think about it. He didn't get along with the defensive coordinator, who, by the way, was at least keeping them in games and creating a lot of turnovers and giving them chances to win. He took play calling away from Mike Kafka. Now Mike Kafka has play calling back. They've gone back and forth. He's pushed other people out the door. He's lost other coaches. Like there's a lot of things that he didn't get along with Daniel Jones at the end, and we saw he got the best out of Daniel Jones in 22. We got the worst out of Daniel Jones in 24. So there's a lot of things now you're looking at. You're saying the resume isn't great with the Giants so far. Not, I mean, it's not even an argument.
No, it's terrible. I mean, you said they were 3-14 last year, which they were. They're 0-3 this year. They're 3-17 in their last 20 games, Jordan. I mean, it's like a mind-numbing.
Well, this is why it bothered me last week that everybody, and I don't think Shane Bowen is this great defensive coordinator. They are 3-17 since he came there. In those 20 games, what has been the biggest problem? It's not his defense.
Right.
It's not his defense.
But it was.
I put a stat out. Did you see the stat I put out?
Go ahead, tell me.
Did you see the stat I put out? It was last night. I'm digging it up real quick here. Sunday night was the 7th game the Giants have scored fewer than 10 points since the start of last season. That's the most in the NFL, right? 10 points, less than 10 points, right. 7 times.
Digits.
4 more than any other team, Dave. 4 more times. Think about that. And we're going to sit here and point the finger at Shane Bowen. We could complain about him. I'm all for that. But to be like, that guy needs to go? Like, what?
Right. Why him over anybody else? So I can't even believe I have to ask you this question, but I do. Last year, week 2, I believe, there was an issue in pregame or all week long. Graham Gano was banged up, and then he couldn't go against Washington. And I think it probably cost them the game, right? So here we are now. Last night, you tune into the broadcast. Maybe you had an idea this was an issue. And Graham Gano, believe it or not, is somehow hurt yet again and can't kick in the game. Jamie Gillen will kick, but then Graham Gano will come in and kick, but he really shouldn't kick. And he's not like Jordan. They're dealing with stuff that other teams don't. It's not even a thought. What is happening within this organization?
Yeah. If you name something that can go wrong, it will go wrong. And it's crazy that in 3 straight years, the Giants have had to have their punter kick. And but it's all part of this bigger picture and decision making, right? We're looking at it and you say, why does this keep happening? Well, they're banking on a 35-year-old kicker right now. Right? Does that seem like a good idea? Who struggled with injuries?
I don't know. I mean, Morton Anderson was like 44, and I don't remember him getting hurt. Like this happens all the time.
This isn't Morton Anderson, and he's already been in, and he keeps getting injured. So to bring him back this year, at by the way, a pretty decent price for a kicker. This is like the price you pay, the risk you have. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, it shouldn't happen. It doesn't happen to anybody else.
Anybody else? I've never heard of such a thing. Like maybe in the course of a decade, it'll happen once or maybe twice. It's happened to the same team twice in a 1-year span.
Yeah. I mean, it's bad, but let's be honest. Does it really matter? Did that cost them the game yesterday?
No.
Like, I know it's infuriating because of the concept of what happened.
On the first drive, would you have popped home a field goal, gone up 3-0? Would you have picked an extra point? Like, yeah. So, no. Do I think they would have won the game had those things not happened? No. But do I think that's what a functional team would do, is just have a backup kicker ready to go in case? Was this guy hurt all week leading into the game? Was this a concern?
No, there was nothing there that said he was hurt. He wasn't on the injury report. Like there was nothing there with Graham Gano that suggested that he was going to get hurt. Now, he might have been dealing with some stuff previously, but no. And as far as I know at this point, no.
Mm-hmm. So walk me through. We saw last night, and I thought they came out and they ran the ball well, right?
Yeah.
Like he had that little spin move, and he picked up the first down. Then he gets to the outside, puts his head down, gets hit on the shoulder. They say it drives me crazy about the NFL. James Conner got hurt, was carted off. You knew that his season was done.
They called it
questionable to return for the game. So they said Tyrone Tracy was questionable to return to the game. There's a better chance that I suited up as at running back.
He couldn't move his arm. He was like this, right?
Right. He could barely walk. He's not questionable to come back into the game. That being said, do we have any update, any knowledge of the extent?
Yeah, he dislocated his shoulder. He's going to miss some time here. Not exactly sure how much yet, but it looks like it'll cost him some game time, which means we're going to see more Cam Scatterboo. And Probably also going to see Turbo Miller being brought up from the practice squad, a guy I know a lot of people like. He does bring some juice that they otherwise don't necessarily have. I'm kind of intrigued to see what Turbo Miller can provide. But yeah, the Giants are going to be without Tyrone Tracy for a little bit. And we saw it happen in the second half. When he wasn't there, it was the Cam Scattaboo show.
Well, that's what people are excited about. Like, there's very little that Giants fans are excited about right now. Scattaboo is, in fact,
Scattaboo and Jackson Dart.
Yeah, that's it. And Neighbors, if they decide to incorporate him into the game plan, which, I mean, I get it.
How is that possible?
I get that Kansas City comes into the game and says, whatever happens, this guy will not beat us. That does make sense to me. But what doesn't make sense to me is you can't do a wide receiver screen. You can't run a halfback option where he's the primary, target downfield. Like, there's no way to incorporate this guy into the game until you get to the fourth quarter, Jordan.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, you got to find ways. That's what they need to do offensively. You have to find ways to get the ball in your best player's hands, right? Like, there's got to be a way to give him a slip screen, give him an end around. Like, get the ball to Malik Neighbors.
Yeah,
first of all, you want to make him feel involved. And number two, he's dangerous with the ball in his hands. Get him the ball in his hands. Throw a little quick pass to him. Let him, anything. Like, there's got to be ways. And look, Steve Spagnuolo had a guy over the top of him the whole game, but you got to get him the ball. And look, this hasn't been a problem long term. That's the first game that he's played in where he's had less than 4 catches. I never played a game with less than 4 catches. Dave, I got to run. I'm sorry.
Something important happening?
I have somebody at my front door. I have my sprinkler system, I believe, has been leaking. So I have a flood in my backyard, and he just decided to show up now.
Go deal with that. I'll talk to you. Thanks for your time. Of course, look, this is the live television that we do here. Jordan Raanan has to go because you know what? It makes sense that he works with the Giants because in typical Giants fashion, it just falls apart right before our eyes. So a leaky sprinkler system, and Jordan has to go. But we got some good information from him, right? I mean, Tyrone Tracy, that is a separated shoulder, and that's going to be some time. Scattaboo is somebody that I think everyone is excited about and enjoyed watching. And how do you not incorporate your wide receiver who, again, after last week's game, I was sitting here and telling everyone, and I stand by it, this guy is on the same level as the elite receivers in the NFL. You have to incorporate him. I'm sorry, you have to. I mean, I don't care if they're sending, coverage over top and not letting him get deep, then run short intermediate patterns and allow him to take the ball and try to make moves on his own. Just if the ball in his hands is better than the ball in anybody else's hands if you're the Giants. So, and they didn't do it, and they didn't try. And again, I've said this for years. I think Darius Slayton is a wonderful human being. He is not a number 2 or maybe even a number 3, and you're paying him $12 million this year. The offensive line is the same across the board. They can play. I mean, I don't ever remember an offensive lineman being on a pitch count like Andrew Thomas was last night, but in fact, he was. And again, this is the life that we have to live. Welcome to New York Giants football. Rather than have it get you crazed and upset every week, just accept it. This is what it is. It's not going to change. And here we are. All right, let's bring on Nico, who's one of the 2 producers on the show. And I have a few things I want to get into with you. Yeah. So before I ask you about how people can subscribe and consume and all that, do we have any questions, comments that we can get to right now? Because I believe there's probably some that we can interact with at this very moment.
We do, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, great. Okay, good.
So this comes from Billtron 182. Neighbors was looking understandably fed up yesterday, barely getting any touches.
Of course. I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, last week he was unbelievable. He's catching touchdown passes all over the place, and this week they make no effort to get him the football, and even the efforts that they made they were embarrassing. It's like, you just run to the right corner of the end zone and I'll throw it up. And he literally threw it up there and it got intercepted time over time. It's the weird thing about Russell Wilson is week 1, you're like, oh God, I think maybe he's got very little left. Week 2, in regulation for 60 football minutes, He was otherworldly. And from the overtime all through last night's game, you just shake your head. The Giants had first and goal at the 4 last night and gave you one. Like, there is no team that I've seen worse in the red zone in decades than a Brian Dable-led Giants team. They had first and goal at the 4. They try to throw, and they throw it into the tunnel where it's a intentional grounding, and it backs it up to the 14. Now, mind you, they do with a quarterback who I think at this point of his career, it's fair to say is pretty much immobile. They decide at that moment, let's run a quarterback draw, which the boos were just cascading down from Giant Stadium. And then for the you think that was bad, watch this. We'll throw a couple more. And I believe the last one hit off the crossbar. There were 2 crossbars last night. Harrison Butker hit the crossbar to give the Chiefs a field goal, and Russell Wilson hit the crossbar to give the Giants absolutely nothing. I'm sorry I went off on a little tangent.
No,
but I'm very frustrated.
I agree. It was the most uncompetitive red zone trip I've ever seen as a Giant fan.
And it's not like a standalone where you're like, well, they're typically so good in the red zone, but this kind of got away from them. It's just the opposite. They are the worst team. It's the Giants and the Browns are just a horror show in the red zone. But I got news for you. The Browns gave the Bengals all they could handle. Their defense actually competed for a while against maybe the best team in football in Baltimore, and they beat Green Bay yesterday, who many people thought was the best team in all of football. So you say, well, we're the Browns. Are we? Or are the Browns at a different plane? I think it's the Giants. I think it's the Saints as your 2 bottom teams in the NFL right now. All right, Nico, we got anything else?
Yeah. The Moloko Velocet.
You have no idea if that's how you pronounce that.
No idea.
And what is this? With the Moloko Velocet? What the hell does that mean?
No idea.
Yeah.
But more discussion on the impact of Evan Neal's inability to play on this O-line this season.
Here's the truth. Evan Neal is not an NFL caliber player. The only reason he exists on this Giants team is because they drafted him with the 7th pick a couple of years back. That's it. The guy is an absolute unmitigated disaster. He stinks. I'm sorry to say it. I don't want to be cruel. I'm not taking personal shots at the guy. As far as an NFL caliber player, it does not exist. He is not an NFL caliber player. So the Melose, whatever the guy was that asked that question, that's how the Giants offensive line, and they're going like Pro Football Focus is going through their numbers last night. John Michael Schmitz. He's like, John Michael Schmitz, Minnesota. And then it shows you where he ranks across the bottom. 30 was 32 of 33. Well, there's only 32 teams. So somebody's using multiple centers who just might be in some bizarre world worse than you. Otherwise, you're as bad as it gets. But you have got John Runyon was like 58 out of 74. Yet Evan Neal is so bad that he can't get near the field. So digest that for a moment. The Giants offensive line, Andrew Thomas is on a pitch count and is never healthy. Bo is his replacement at left tackle. You know what? I think Bo did a decent job. Fine. Left tackle, okay. Then you have right tackle. Illuminor is average. What do the kids say? What do you say now? You say 6'7"? Is that what you say when someone's mid?
Mid, yeah, mid.
Yeah, someone's mid, 6'7". See, I know the lingo. I'm down with the lingo of you people. All right. So then you have Van Roten, who is, I think if you looked up the definition of mediocre in the dictionary, there'd be a picture of Greg Van Roten sitting right there. John Michael Schmitz, like we mentioned, is 32 of 33, and John Runyon is nothing to write home about. With that offensive line, Nico, Evan Neal can't be active during game day.
I think they're afraid to put him in just because he'll get booed. Like that comment last year about hamburger flipping, hot dog making, whatever, that put him in forever in, negative in the hearts of all.
And you see, and you know what? Another thing too is you see it. Xavier McKinney, balling in Green Bay. Daniel Jones would get MVP votes if it came down to it. I know we're week 3, but is playing at a very high level. Saquon Barkley dominates the way running backs really don't do. If they move on from this guy and he turns into Mekhi Becton and becomes a really functional, productive guard? Because tell me you couldn't see this. Howie Roseman takes a shot at this guy, puts him in at guard, and lines him up next to Jordan Mailata, and all of a sudden Evan Neal becomes into a real, like a big physical road grading guard, and that would be the end of me.
But in college, I mean, I remember when he came to the Giants, they flipped him to right tackle.
Oh, I know.
So, like, I understand that, Andrew Thomas is hurt. Why give him run at left tackle?
Oh, but Nico, come on. He can't play guard in this league. Now you're going to line him up on left tackle. The guy has like, how is it? Feet for hands or hands for feet? It's just not functional. Do we have anything else as far as the questions are concerned?
Yeah, one more actually from Billtron 182 again. Dave, who would you choose as a realistic option at coach when Dave?
I don't know. I can't sit here and tell you if you're going to draft a quarterback or the coach is going to be. It's unfair. We're 3 games into the season, guys. I mean, you've heard the name John Gruden thrown around. Do you want to bring in someone who's got baggage like that? He loves Dart. He's an offensive mind. He gets guys to play for him. But we're 3 games into this. You don't know who's going to lose their job just based on this season. You don't know what college coaches are going to want to take the jump. You don't know what coordinators are going to become the hot coordinators. We have no idea. It is way premature. I did this last year, right? We have Mel Kiper, who's as good as it comes when it comes to covering NFL draft. And after, I think, week 3 last year, I started with him on my radio show. Mel, what quarterbacks are going to be the guys? And he started naming guys. I don't even think Jackson Dart was mentioned. So we have no idea. We have absolutely no idea. Nico, where'd you go? I look up and you're gone. There you are. What happened to you?
I had to fix something.
Did you fix it?
Yeah.
Bring in Steve for a second, just because I worry about Steve's well-being, like mental well-being, that I'm talking to you so much. Steve, are you okay?
I mean, I've been better.
I can't hear you again, Steve.
Yeah, you can't hear me?
Yeah, your microphone stinks. This is why I don't bring you on, because I have this concern about the microphone.
I mean, I got the same type of mentality as a Jets fan.
All right, I'm done with you. Bring back in. All right, Nico, you've already won the day. So I was going to use you, Steve, but I can barely hear you. So bring Nico back in. Nico, is your microphone still working?
Yeah, mine's good. I was just about to give Steve mine.
Be honest with me. When you come in on like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, do you make sure to poison his microphone so that you get more airtime? Honestly, I won't even judge you for it. I
intentionally mess up the wiring so he can't talk.
All right. So I told people, and I'm a promotion devil, right? You can listen to us now. We're on Spotify, Dave Rothenberg's Giants Obsession, right?
Yeah.
You can follow us on all the social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, DR Giants Obsession, on Twitter, DRNYGO. And I have a whole note here in front of me. Like the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We're on the mission, the journey to get to 1,000 subscribers, right?
Yeah, we are. We're almost there. I mean, we're almost at, I think last check was 740, I think.
So we're 3/4 of the way to our 1,000 subscribers in not even 3 weeks doing this show. So that's good. So we click the bell next to the subscribe button to get notified when we post.
Yeah, so
we're doing that also.
So if you're subscribed to the channel, which some of you are, some of you who watch aren't. So if you aren't, click the subscribe right below in the description, and right next to it should be a bell that pops up. You could click that to get notified on your phone or computer whenever we go live or whenever we post a new video.
We should start. You're not going to remember. There was a children's show when I was a kid. It was, I think it was Romper Room. Maybe it was, I don't know. It was something. I'm dating myself, but you know what? Deal with me for a second. And there was these 2 women. Maybe it was the Magic Garden. I can't exactly remember, but there was these 2 women, and they would look at the camera and they would say, like, I can see Steve, and I can see Joe, and I can see Rob, and I can see Aaron, and there's Jessica. We could do that. When people subscribe, we could be like, and there's, Belfast 182, or there's Malako's Solalico, right? We could do that kind of stuff if we chose. We could do whatever we want, Nico.
Yeah, we could do whatever we want. When we get the members tab, maybe we could give a couple shout outs to some people who
I think we
joined
should
the
start.
membership.
I think what we should do, and tell me if you think this is a good idea. You start sending them bills, like cash in the mail. You find out their home address and you send them not large sums of money, like $5, $10, like what you would leave for a tip at a hotel that you spend the weekend at. You send that to people, and I think we start to really make some noise.
Does that make our following fabricated?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, just to be completely frank with you.
Okay.
So we're on our journey to 1,000. We're in the 700s. And if you click below, pop that up again. I don't want to point at it because I don't want you to scold me again. But if you subscribe, that will help us, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, it would help us. We're on our way to 1,000. We're almost there. When we get to 1,000, we have a little bit of surprise that we're planning.
What, like a party?
Not a party, something else.
Like what? You can't let me in on this at all? Do I know about this?
You might know about it, but we're gonna keep it.
We're gonna have merch. Are we gonna get merch?
Maybe it's something. Maybe it's something signed.
You're gonna sign something for the people?
I'm not gonna. No one wants my signature.
Oh, I don't know. I don't agree with that at all. All right, so let's look at the negatives and the positives. Okay, if we have a graphic, that'd be great. Otherwise, I could just run through some of the negatives and the positives that I look at from this week. Positives. Positives. Well, I thought the Giants ran the football pretty effectively. I liked what Cam Scatterbo brought to the table. I'm bringing up his stats right now. I mean, the Giants ran for 130 yards. Scatterbo had a legitimate 60. Tyrone Tracy had 29 yards. Russell Wilson was able to run for 27 yards. Devin Singletary got a couple carries for 11 yards. So the Giants actually averaged almost 5 yards a rush in the game. And I know sometimes, there'll be a garbage play that picks up real yardage and it's not genuine. And then there's always like the 20-yard runs that fabricate what the actual number was. But positive, I thought that the Giants, I thought their running game was somewhat effective. I thought, I know I didn't see him enough and I would have liked to see him more, but I was pretty impressed with Andrew Thomas when he was out there. I thought he looked pretty good, right? There was a play that Chris Collinsworth was even like waxing poetic about, and he was just saying like he went one-on-one with Chris Jones, and that's why he's such a great left tackle, because he's terrific. He really is. Now, he's never healthy, and even when he's healthy or healthy-ish, he doesn't give you a lot of reps. I mean, he didn't make it through the first half last night. So that gives you pause for concern. And at what point are we getting a full and a healthy version of Andrew Thomas? But I thought when he was in, he was pretty good. And I said this last night in the heat of the moment after the game, and I stand by it. Like, Kayvon Thibodeau's playing at a very high level. I think that most people watching this right now would tend to agree. Brian Burns is playing at a Pro Bowl level. Like, Brian Burns is an elite edge player in this league right now, and just continues to have this motor that won't shut off. What starts to worry me is at what point do the Giants defensively start to lose, I don't like that feel good of like, all right, this is going to be a good season and let's keep our motivation up and become, all right, the coach is going to be gone. The GM might be gone. What am I doing here? Like, why am I going to go out and play when the offense is going to put up, Jordan told us the stat, the Giants have 7 single-digit point totals in the last year plus. It's just, quite frankly, it's embarrassing. So at what point, if it happens, and maybe it doesn't, at what point does the defense kind of give up the rope a little bit and fall apart? So those are things that I look at and I see as positives. Negatives, this whole kicker thing is quite frankly embarrassing. The secondary, the penalties continue to be an issue for the Giants. You see an undisciplined version of this team continuously. Like, I mean, 7 penalties for 82 yards on the heels of 14 for 160 last week. It's just unacceptable. And Jordan was talking about the timeout that they took for no reason. And these are the things. Like, if you would the Giants have won the game last night if Graham Gano was healthy? No. Unequivocally, they would not have. That being said, you might have kicked a field goal right off the bat, right? You would have kicked an extra point. So that's 4 points. And again, I don't know what that ultimately means. I just know that the Giants always shoot themselves in the foot. And that's what the bad teams do, is they just continuously shoot themselves in the foot. I'm sick of it. You're sick of it. I'm going to do everything in my power to understand how pedestrian or even bad this team is. And if on Friday of this week, I've wiped the slate clean, and I'm like, all right, the Chargers, how do they attack this? And Justin Herbert and Amari and Hampton, and they have Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnson. I'm not doing that again. I promise you, I'm not doing that again. What else did I find? I mean, Drew Phillips, who I think is a really good tackler, and there's moments I watch him play and think, boy, he's a good player. Boy, He's never met a pass interference he doesn't love, huh? I mean, this guy will. And you saw it at the end of the first half. I mean, that was embarrassing. There's like 15 seconds left. The Chiefs are at their own 30. Mahomes rolls right, heaves it downfield, and Drew Phillips attacks the wide receiver. Clear interference, flag thrown. Kansas City kicks a field goal. When you're not very good, for lack of a better term, this is the minutia that really cost you. So think about that. You gave up a field goal at the end of the first half, which you never should have given up. There was a fumble that was floating free where Dane Belton could have had it, couldn't get it. Okereke had it, wrapped it, took a step with it, and Patrick Mahomes comes flying in from the side to retake it from him. And then you can't take a field goal and you miss an extra point. So the Giants lost, what, 22-9? 7 points right there. You never should have given up that field goal. You should have had an additional 4 points. So that's a 7 points. You lost by 13, right? That's a 7-point swing. And then you had a fumble, which you should have recovered at the Chiefs' 5 that you couldn't get to. So right there, when you're not good, when you're Josh Allen in the Bills, yeah, whatever. We don't get the fumble. We get the ball back. We go down the field. I throw for 200 yards in the fourth quarter. No big deal. Away we go. When you're the Giants, you can't get away with that stuff. You're not talented enough. What was it that Herb said? You're not talented enough to win on talent alone. The Giants aren't talented. The Giants have some pieces, but are they more talented than the Jets or even the Panthers or any of those, bottom rung teams around the NFL? And the answer is no. So if they're not more talented, then you need to recover the fumbles or intercept the passes or not commit the big pass interference or not have the stupid personal foul again and again and again. Any comments, any questions, you're welcome to shoot them our way. Like us, subscribe to us. Again, we're on the journey to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I guess Nico has made this verbal promise that the moment we reach 1,000, somebody's going to receive something. And Pulzin, I don't know how you say this, says, I want your signature. Well, help us get to 1,000. And when we get to 1,000, maybe I'll sign some stuff or maybe even a handwritten letter. That would be nice. Or maybe we have like a form letter and I just put my John Hancock on that. But I'm happy to engage and get involved. We just need to reach certain figures and numbers for that to start to happen. Do we have our picks from what we did this week? We do. And then we have to do the Fixins as well, which I want to do. All right. So I have my game of the year today. It's Baltimore. Nico, you have this sad face. I had the Rams plus 3.5 yesterday. In the history of gambling on sports, has there ever been a worse loss than that? I don't know that I've ever seen it. So if you don't know what happened, the Rams led 26-7. 26, I forget what, I think it was 26-7. Wound up losing 34-20. I have to look at the score. It was either 34-26 or 33-26. The final score really is irrelevant. But yeah, 33-26 is the final. The Rams go down they have a field goal blocked, and the Eagles come down and score a touchdown, and they go up by a point, right? So now the Rams come down, and the only way, final 2 minutes of the game, the only way the Rams cannot cover the number. Now, everyone in their family wants the Rams to win because everyone hates the Eagles, right? It's a disgusting, you name it, from top to bottom. They're repulsive, Sirianni, all of them. But all you need to have happen is to not allow a touchdown. Well, they march all the way down the field, and they get in prime field goal range, and all they have to do is hit a field goal, or quite frankly, for the spread, miss a field goal. All they have to do is miss the field goal or have it blocked and not returned for a touchdown, and we're sitting pretty with cash money. And it gets blocked, and they pick it up and return it for a touchdown to win by 7. That goes down as one of the bad beats in the history of gambling. Really, I mean that sincerely. As someone that used to gamble a lot younger days, that is one of the worst beats you would ever have. So I didn't feel it from a financial perspective, but from the picks perspective, I certainly felt it. The Jets, we got a little fortunate there. Kind of got that backdoor cover. Baker Mayfield, late drive, field goal, Jets lose. We covered the number. I felt good about that. And tonight we have Baltimore minus the 4.5. And I feel really, that's my game of the year. Steve, I told you my advice. Borrow money you don't have right now. Run to a sports book, put big action on Baltimore minus 4.5.
Well, the funny thing is I had the Rams plus 3.5 as well.
Can you borrow Nico's microphone for God's sakes, please?
He keeps dying. I have the other mic.
I mean,
I got Nico's now.
You keep trying to use a microphone that doesn't work, and you keep doing it over and over.
Because, well, we fixed it. I wanted to test it.
Well, guess what? It's not fixed yet. Let's make sure we fix it off air next time before we bring it back on air continuously. But now you have a functional mic. So go ahead. You had money on the Rams plus 3.5?
Yeah, I'm that sucker. Yep.
How much? Walk me through it. How much did you lose?
It was only $10. I had a parlay, and everything was hitting pretty well.
Would the parlay have hit in totality? Had that?
Oh,
no. So that game didn't really ruin anything for you.
No, but it was just, well, I'm also in a pool with my dad runs a pool, a fantasy pool, and I had like my highest points on the Rams to cover.
Oh, terrible. Now, you know about this journey to 1,000 subscribers that we have going on, right?
Yeah. Is
this accurate? Tell me, because it might not be. I don't know. Nico says a lot of stuff that I'm not sure is accurate. He said, when we get to 1,000, you will clip off a lock of your hair and send it to one lucky subscriber.
Maybe
is that true?
1,000. We get a little higher, I'll think about it. 1,000, I don't know, man.
Okay, let me ask you this.
My dad's bald. I can't.
But you're not. You have beautiful hair.
Dude,
you have
not
gorgeous
yet,
hair.
Dave.
Let me ask you this. Let's see how far we can push this. At 10,000, you could say no. At 10,000, would you shave your head bald? 10,000 subscribers.
Dude, there's a lot. I need a lot more to shave. The
Okay.
clip, I'll think about.
Okay. All right. Let me put 50,000 subscribers.
If we get 100,
100, if we become like Mr. Beast and we get 100,000 subscribers, you will shave your head bald live on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will.
I don't know if that game will work.
I don't care if we monetize this thing. I don't care if people watch it for more than 90 minutes a week. I don't care any of it. If we get to 100,000 subscribers and you allow me to shave your head bald, I'll bring up a chair right here. You'll sit next to me. We'll trim this thing down. We'll bick it. Oh, it would be a dream. It would be an absolute dream for me to do that.
I really want us to hit 100,000, but
I think it'd be great for the show.
At a certain cost.
I think it'd be great for the show. NFC standings review. And we'll get to the Fixins, and then we'll say goodbye and get ready to do the show on Wednesday of this week. So the NFC review of where we are in the standings, and let me just bring up the standings so I have them in front of me. NFC, Philadelphia, obviously they're 3-0. We know that. Washington, they're 2-1. Dallas is 1-2. Giants are 0-3. The Giants are going to be last place again. And you'll say, well, last place will wind up giving you, a good opposition next year. But no, the Giants finished last place last year. And for their troubles, they get, the Raiders, who are not great, but it's certainly not an easy game. They get the San Francisco 49ers. It's just amazing. So how it works, just to let you know, is it's not this like big magical thing where if you come in last place, you have just defined an easy schedule. Here's how it works. You play your division 2 times, all 3 teams, right? So that's 6 games. Then you play another division in your conference. And this year, the Giants are the NFC North, which is just a treat. So it's the Lions and the Vikings and the Bears and the Packers. So that's a treat. So that's 10. And then you face a division from the other conference, which this year is the AFC West. So that's 14 games. And then you play 3 last place teams on the year as well, which I think is New England, the Raiders, and the Niners for the Giants this year. So it's not like you just jump into an easy schedule. There's really only 3 games that determine how this thing works. So just a little insight into that. Dave's Fixins. I'm not a miracle worker now, by the way. I don't have Fixins for you. And also a thing I'd like to ask is, why do I look like a psychotic serial killer in the Dave's Fixins icon down below. Why? Really? You know what I look like? I look like I've just committed double murder, and now I'm like, and now that I've gotten rid of the two of them, I can share with you how the Giants can fix this team. Well, I can't fix them. They can't fix them. I can't fix them. But what needs to get better? That I can tell you. The passing game. The passing game. I mean, it's comical last night. Russell Wilson was 18 of 32, but a lot of that was garbage. It was awful. Checkdowns. Wide receivers had two receptions heading into the fourth quarter. The secondary, it has to be better. It does. I mean, too many pass interference penalties. Adebo's got to intercept the football. Drew Phillips has to stop running into wide receivers who are somewhat open when the ball is thrown up. He doesn't have a handle on that even a little bit. And kickers. And not kickers specifically, place kickers. Not punters. Not kickoff specialists, because Gillen was fine with that. You can't have your kicker again get hurt in warmups and not able to kick. At this point, you have become a comedy routine around the NFL. So, in summation, where are we? This is a bad football team. And I think we all know this is a bad football team. There's not going to be a lot of wins on the docket for this team. And I just want to quickly bring up the schedule because Jordan's like, well, it gets easier in the second half of the season. So they lost to Kansas City. Now it's the Chargers this week. So, I mean, let's walk it through together, okay? And you never know when there's going to be a Joe Burrow catastrophic injury, but Chargers this week. Then you're at the Saints. You better win that game. Then it's Eagles, at Broncos, at Eagles, home to the Niners. You see a win there? If you're able to win against the Saints, you go into a game at the Bears with one victory. You're at the Bears, which is hardly easy. You're home to the Packers, which no one thinks you have a chance to win. You're at the Lions and at the Patriots. Then you're home to Washington, home to Minnesota, at the Raiders, and end the season home to the Cowboys. Now, Jordan says, no. 3-4 wins, that's not going to happen. Where are the wins coming from on the schedule? Tell me, how many times will the Giants be favored in a game? They'll probably be favored slim against the Saints. They won't be favored at the Bears. They're not going to be favored at the Raiders. Now, you never know who's hurt and all that kind of stuff. But right now, this thing is quickly hemorrhaging. And 3 wins last year, 0-3 this year. This Giants team is 3-17 in their last 20. And all I can do is put like a magical shell around myself and just make a solemn promise to me and to you. I'm not getting sucked back in. I'll watch them because I love them, but I am not falling for the Giants have hope. When the Giants show me hope is when I will believe. They do not get it from me until I'm shown otherwise. So that's it. That's what we've come here to do today. Thank you to Jordan. Great job, Nico. Steve, if I have to listen to you on a non-functional microphone on Wednesday, I'm going to clobber you. I'm going to shave your head at that point myself. We'll be back on Wednesday. Get some sleep. It's a long season. Like, subscribe. You know it. We are on the journey to 1,000 subscribers. We'll do it again Wednesday, 1 o'clock Eastern. As always, this has been and will continue to be Dave Rothenberg's Giants Obsession.